Hey coaches, welcome to our first Whiteboard Wednesday. Today we're going to take a look at a counter trade concept and a couple different ways that you can dress that up and essentially get more than one run out of that scheme. So a base counter trade concept, we're just looking at this against a base 40 front, an over front, you got the nose, and a 1-tech in the boundary, 3-tech to the field. We traditionally run that off our or our power concept, so we're going to show the fullback to the backside. We're going to get a power counter double, gap scheme double, working back to the second linebacker in the box. We're always going to leave two players for our two pullers, one at the first level, one at the second level. We're going to block back with either the center or the guard. It depends if you have a 1-tech or a 3-tech. Here with a 1-tech and A-gap defender, we're going to block back with that center. Pull the guard. We're going to look to kick out that defensive end. Pull the tackle nice and tight to this double team. Pull through for that first linebacker in the box. And then our fullback is going to have to cut off that backside defender. Okay, in this case, that end in the C gap, he's going to have to cut off that defender. You can do a bunch of different things in the backfield. Most people run it with making it look like their power and come back behind the quarterback, boot the quarterback out the backside. We've run it as well where the back takes the ball, say almost like an inside zone track, and then works his way back. One of the big challenges with this play is blocking this backside defensive end. Coaching in my career, we've dealt with some pretty good players back there, and we often found that when we would pull the tackle, we would pull both guard and tackle or center and the tackle. Our fullback would have a really tough time cutting that end off, and often he'd be able to disrupt the timing, get in the backfield, strip that second puller, and it created a lot of negative run for us on our counter. So we got into a couple different variations to try and take advantage of that really aggressive backside defensive end. The first that we got into was actually running it more like a counter F, which I know a lot of people run. That's not something that's super new. Almost like a power switch concept. We would take our fullback, still show like it was power to that side. Same alignment here. Still working our double back to the second linebacker in the box. We would pull our guard or our center. In this case, it's the guard because there's a 1-tech. Kick that end out. But now instead of pulling the tackle, we would have the tackle base block back. Now that end is going to set the edge here, not be an issue for you on the opposite side. And we would pull our fullback through for that first linebacker in the box. The other thing this lets you do is if you're getting any sort of will run through, this tackle can sift and pick that up. At that point, obviously your backside end is unblocked, but you're preventing that run through in the B gap, hoping that bootleg holds that edge defender. Made it a little safer for us on the backside, a little simpler to handle those defensive ends that were really giving our fullbacks a hard time chasing that thing down. Second variation we got to off of that is we could actually read the backside end. Now this is more if you have that athletic quarterback, you've got a player there where you feel good with the ball in his hands. He's a confident runner, especially for high school teams. You really often have that best athlete on your team playing quarterback. This is a good way to let him use his athleticism and protect your counterplay. So here I'm going to draw it up with a 3-tech on the backside, away from the run. Show you a little bit subtle different change. Okay, now you could do this out of a spread. You could add the fullback to either side. Let's put the fullback on that backside still. So we'll see something like this. Okay, now the back is still going to work to his aiming point. I should have mentioned this at the start. He's aiming for the outside hip of that guard. When that tackle steps down, again, we're leaving 2, so there's 1, 2. He steps down, the back is wanting to come right off that hip. We're going to work this double through for the second linebacker in the box. With a B gap D tackle or a 3-tech in the boundary, away from the call. Now we're going to block the guard back. Our center is going to pull and kick out the end. Okay, here we're going to pull the tackle tight up and through like we had in the first drawing. And now we're going to slip to that will linebacker. We're going to leave this defensive end and give the quarterback the opportunity. If he's chasing that puller, now the quarterback can pull the football, and we got a personal protector for him with that fullback. Now, if you want to have a pass option off of that, so say you're in a base 22 set, you might have your backside guys like you would on a zone read run some sort of comeback corner. Might have a bang route in the corner or something where if that quarterback pulls it, he's able to get width, get some depth, and have the option to throw the ball out there or run it himself. Third option, and this is really if you feel comfortable running that quarterback, is you can take the quarterback and actually make him the counter player. So I'd be more likely to say run this to the boundary side. So we'll flip the direction of the counter. We'll leave the fullback on that side. Let's put this one over 31. So let's say you get a team that doesn't want to give you the one-on-one in the boundary, so they leave that two-on-one relationship. So now they're going to be a little bit short of the field. So here we got that basic 4-3 alignment again. Here I just have them drawn up, heads techniques right on the guard. Okay, your linebackers are shifted into the boundary with the fullback. So here we're going to run the quarterback counter, and we're going to read again the backside defensive end. Now here we're going to run the counter into the boundary. Okay, and our control player this time is going to be the back. In the last drawing, the control player was the quarterback, the threat to pull if they chase the counter. Here we're going to run the counter into the boundary. So anytime we run counter and we have a fullback or tight end towards the side of the call, we're going to slip that end almost like a trap block to try and get him upfield. So in this case, our fullback could slip to that will linebacker. So now we don't need to worry about him, and these are going to be our two defenders we leave for the counter. Now this double team can work all the way back to the furthest linebacker in this case. Okay, with the heads technique, usually we'd still block him back. And now here's our two pullers, one for the kick out and one for that nice tight pull through for that linebacker coming over the top. Now what I especially like about this in the Canadian system is if you get a team that's going to play your 3-by-1 with that kind of high halfback so that he can play 3 vertical and also help on number 1 in the boundary, or if you get a team that just leaves him in the boundary flat, say you get a hold look. Okay, leaves him in the boundary flat. You have tons of space now. That back is going to go flat across the quarterback, almost like a jet sweep, but from the tailback. Okay, and you can choose, you can have this H block the Sam and leave the free safety, or you can just have him climb to the free safety, right? And, this guy's read is telling him, hey, there's pullers going that way. I got to work over the top. The key here is we're going to read, again, this defensive end. Now, if he wants to chase that counter, we're giving the ball to the back, and we're out the gate to the field, okay, into tons of space. If he plays straight up the field or if he hangs and waits, now my quarterback is going to follow that second puller into the boundary. Great wrinkle if you've got an athlete at quarterback. If that guy's your best athlete in the high school system, or if you have a running quarterback at all, this is a really good look. You could also do this out of a wildcat package. If your quarterback isn't a runner, or you're looking to get the ball into an athlete's hands and put him at quarterback, that's one other way that you could get to that. So that's 3 different ways you can protect your counter scheme. You can run that counter F and pull the fullback, or you can read that player that's giving you the problems, that backside defensive end, either by having the quarterback run the counter like we have drawn up here, or that previous drawing where you're basically just running like most teams would on a zone read, but now you're running that counter read. Hey coaches, thanks for watching. Make sure you follow us on social media and don't forget to hit subscribe to make sure you get access to our weekly YouTube content.